The Rndr token continues to be one of the hottest AI altcoins on the market, the biggest AI altcoin by market cap, and has consistently outperformed Bitcoin and a lot of the other altcoins that you have seen throughout the bull run. So in today's episode of the Everything Crypto Show, I want to break down their partnership with Stability AI and discuss why I believe this partnership could lead to a triple-digit Rndr in the future. Now, before we hop into the content, just a friendly reminder that I am not a financial advisor. I am simply here for your crypto news and entertainment purposes. And if you do enjoy the content, please consider hitting that sub and like button and turn that notification bell on so you can be notified when all of our latest videos go live on the channel. So we're going to get right into today's altcoin of discussion, and that is going to be the Rndr network. So I want to talk about the Rndr network, and more specifically, I do want to kind of roll back and take a look at their partnership with Stability AI. So this was announced back in late March. And with this announcement, a ton of other upgrades and things have been happening behind the scenes that I do think have been contributing to this coin's continued outperformance. So we saw this announcement here that Otoy, Stability AI, Endeavor, which owns the rights to UFC and WWE, and Rndr are thrilled to announce a partnership between industry leaders in open source generative AI models, media and entertainment, GPU computing to develop and standardize IP rights, production workflows, and infrastructure around emerging AI technologies. The partnership leverages Rndr's decentralized GPU network, massively scaling AI training and inference power at cost to help democratize open source, transparent, generative AI technology that's going to impact a lot of content creation, so spatial media and also 3D VFX. But also they are looking to focus on the large language models and artificial intelligence side of things as well. So a very big partnership here. And if you want to understand just how big Stability AI is and why this partnership is such a big deal, if we take a look at the About webpage here for Stability AI, you can see that just 2 months after its release, they already have over 10 million users and 400 million images generated using Stability AI's API. So a very big partnership for the Rndr network, and to know that one of the biggest AI companies out there is in fact looking at harnessing the potential of the Rndr network for further AI use cases. So here's a really good thread from Crypto Tobias, and he's basically breaking down how this partnership could contribute to a triple, maybe even quadruple digit price for Rndr. I definitely would be taking profits in that triple digit range if it gets there. So let's start by taking a look at Stability AI. Most people might think that OpenAI is the leader in the generative industry. However, in 2023, 12.5 billion of the total 15.4 billion images that were generated did come from Stable Diffusion, which is Stability AI's image generator. So you can see here that you have 15.47 billion total. DALL-E 2, which is OpenAI's image generator, came in with 916 mil. Midjourney 964 mil. Adobe 1 bill. Models based on Stable Diffusion, 12.59 billion images generated. So now what does this have to do with Rndr? What does this mean for the Rndr network and the Rndr token specifically? Well, Stability AI will be using 1 million of Rndr's GPUs, which will increase usage by about 1 to 200x. And this does also have a secondary effect on the burn. So Rndr has a burn and mint equilibrium. So far, a total of 55.5k Rndr tokens have been burnt. And so far, this hasn't had any significant impact on the price. I mean, we've had 55,000 tokens burned with a total supply of 532 million. However, when the usage increases, basically by hundreds of X's, we can only imagine how much this will affect the burns as well. So if you were around when BNB went on its first ever bull run with the burns, you know, a lot of that was contributed by the burns, not necessarily because of the burns happening themselves, but even just the narrative of the burn taking place. The fact that there was only 200 million BNB and they're looking to reduce that to 100 million over time. They are already at 147 mil, 147.5 mil as it stands. I definitely do think that this contributed to a lot of the success that BNB saw in the last bull run. I mean, you can see here, right? Like in 2020, we were looking at let's take a look at like the end of 2020, 23 bucks. This thing ran all the way up to $676. I think its all-time high was actually over 700 bucks if I'm not mistaken. And I do believe that a similar effect will kind of come into play here with Rndr. So definitely something to keep in mind, that burns are bullish. But again, this could take some time before we see the full potential of the burn mechanism. Rndr first has to be optimized to work with Stability AI. And I definitely do think that, you know, they will continue to either work towards this throughout the bull market. And even knowing that this is going to happen, I mean, markets are forward looking, so it doesn't have to happen for it to already be priced in to the altcoin. Now, RNP11, this proposal was written by the one and only Imad Mostak. Now, Imad Mostak was the former CEO of Stability AI. When this partnership was announced with Rndr, he actually left Stability AI to join the Rndr advisory board. And this proposal was for Stability AI to leverage the Rndr network to create a data set of 1 billion 3D assets to train next gen of 3D artificial intelligence. So proof of first upload. One of the biggest problems with AI is it's becoming increasingly more difficult to tell an artificially generated image from a real one, but proof of first upload is the solution to this problem, which is something the Rndr network is working on. Additionally, not only are they looking to tighten the supply on the buying selling markets through burns, but also through staking. So staking will be rewarded with licensing revenue from the data sets. And conclusion, Stability AI to use 1 million GPUs, increases in burn, creating and earning revenue from 3D datasets, proof of first upload, staking equals bullish. I mean, it's a pretty cut and dry analysis, but I do tend to agree with it. This is a very big partnership that cannot be understated. And I think, once again, if you go back to this image right here, it really showcases just how big Stability AI actually is. Now, if we actually take a look at RNP11 over here on GitHub, the other thing that wasn't mentioned in the thread that I do think is worth noting is that buyers interested in using these 3D datasets will be paying exclusively in Rndr, and users will have the option to stake Rndr and receive rewards from nodes who generate that training revenue. So Rndr is needed to pay for these datasets, even adding more demand and utility to the token. Now, speaking of the token, this is pretty much all I wanted to talk about in terms of the partnership. I just really wanted to discuss, you know, we haven't spoken about it in a while, and for me, this is a very big partnership for Rndr that I do think will continue to help it just outperform the rest of the market as it has been doing so far, from not only a narrative perspective, but also for fundamental reasons. For narrative, the two big things I am looking at is the next NVIDIA earnings call, which is coming up. Oh, look, NVIDIA's up nice today. It's actually coming up on May 22nd, if I'm not mistaken, and the Apple WWDC conference happening on June 10th. We already spoke about how Apple was showcasing Octane X, which is powered by the Rndr network, in their iPad trailer, trying to showcase what the new M4 chip could do. So the fact that Rndr has connections to both Apple and NVIDIA is also a very big deal for the token, in my opinion. Now, taking a look at the chart, here's the one thing I'm looking at when it comes to this altcoin. I mean, let's go back to this crash that we saw back in April, okay? I was saying during this crash that I really did expect this to be max pain. I didn't think that Rndr was going to pull back much more from here. In fact, if we actually go over to my Twitter, if you don't follow me on Twitter, by the way, definitely consider doing so, because that's where I can kind of get my quick thoughts out a lot more. Yeah, I said right here, April 13th, calling max pain for this pullback. And this is a weekly candle. So if we take a look at the daily candles, This was the 13th. It wicked down to about $5.94 on certain exchanges. And we did bounce off of the bull market support band. So you can see here, we bounced off the bull market support band once, bounced off it twice, came back a third time to back test it, broke back above this $8.80 level of resistance slash support. And the reason I think this level is so important is because this was the 2021 all-time high. Generally speaking, prior cycle all-time highs should act as strong areas of support, and if they break down at these levels, it should act as resistance. And the fact that we saw Rndr break below it here on a weekly candle, snap back above, held it for a second weekly candle, then we finally saw on the third weekly candle that it broke below this 880 level right over here. And yeah, within 1 week, it basically turned this move around and once again flipped back above the 880 level of resistance, turning it back into support and holding above it since then. So yeah, I mean, to me, Rndr does look really good here from a USD pair. If we take a look at its Bitcoin pair as well, which I do think is always worth doing, you know, Bitcoin dominance is actually up again today. And a lot of this bull run has been defined by Bitcoin outperforming. So if you're going to be buying altcoins, you want them to be doing better than Bitcoin. Otherwise, you may as well just bought Bitcoin for much less risk, right? Rndr is one of those altcoins that I did think it was worth to take the risk on. And so far, you know, it definitely has paid off. Like Rndr has consistently outperformed Bitcoin. I don't know why the Rndr Bitcoin. There we go. This is the Rndr Bitcoin ratio. Okay. And you can see here that since the beginning of 2023, similar story, just a lot of outperformance here from Rndr versus Bitcoin. In fact, from the beginning of 2023, Rndr is actually up about 556% versus Bitcoin. Very similarly to its USD chart, back tested the bull market support band, broke back above 2021 all-time highs and is holding above them. So I am looking for continued outperformance from this altcoin moving forward, and that is why it is my #1 AI token pick for the rest of this bull run. So on that note, I hope you did enjoy the content in today's video. I hope you are all staying happy, safe, and healthy, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Peace out for now.